a warning?
There's nothing to worry about.
I'm worried that you work in an office, have children, celebrate wedding anniversaries. The world of heterosexual is a sick and boring life.
What shall be done with a jealous woman?
Jacques Dunchild. If you were having the baby, you'd love it. Well, I never wanted it. Richard and I never needed anything else. And now this.
How can you say such wicked things?
Sometimes the truth is wicked.
The starring roles of Gene Tierney long ago revealed her as an incomparable dramatic artist. But in the part of Ellen in Leave Her to Heaven, she gives one of the truly great dramatic performances of our time. Of the devastatingly beautiful Ellen, it was said, she would cheat, lie, deceive, stop at nothing to make the man she loved her exclusive possession. With matchless dramatic power and romantic appeal, Cornel Wilde surpasses all his previous triumphs. As Richard Harland, he fights his mad desire to marry Ellen.
Now look here, Ellen.
Darling, will you marry me?
Why, you unpredictable little...
Lovely Jean Crane discloses new emotional artistry that distinguishes her as one of our most talented actresses. As the gentle half-sister, not even she is spared the venom of Ellen's violent jealousy.
What are you running away from? Is it me?
Ellen, when we were kids, you used to torment me every way you could think of. You can't do that anymore.
Is it Richard?
If you must know, I'm going away because I can't stand living in this house any longer. The whole place is filled with hate. Your hate.
Not hate. Love, Ruth. Richard's love for me.
Welcome back to the show, listeners.
Welcome back.
A classic.
We got a classic for you. We took the show on the road.
Indeed.
We drove out to the desert for this movie.
I think it's apt for the setting of this film, parts of the setting of this film. But we're going to talk about some faces, darling. The women back then, they had faces. I hope you're ready, listeners. My name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay. We drove all the way out to the desert to catch up with our dear friend Emily Ollero Jones from the Female Driven Podcast.
Welcome back to the show, Emily.
Hello. It's weird that you're welcoming me because you're in my kitchen right now.
Well, we get to record with you in person. It's gonna be so much fun talking about
your
this.
Home.
Welcome to my home.
And thank you for having us in your home to record this episode.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm so
good.
happy you're here.
Yeah, this movie. I mean, we're going to talk about it.
So you've been lobbying to do Leave Her to Heaven for a while,
Forever.
a movie that I have been meaning to watch.
Yeah.
For a number of years now. And what a fun opportunity that we watched Leave Her to Heaven, directed by John M. Stahl, screenplay by Joe Swirling, based on the 1944 novel by Ben Ames Williams, premiered at the Carthay Circle Theater December 20th, 1945. Leave Her to Heaven was a huge box office hit in 1945, grossing over $8 million, and was 20th Century Fox's highest grossing film of the entire decade. Adjusted for inflation, did you know? $142 million for this movie. Wow. If you were to compare it to money today.
Work.
How much did Gone Girl make?
Well, Gone Girl was a pretty decent hit. Probably made around that type of money.
I mean, much like Gone Girl, or what other movie could you compare it to? This book came out in 1944, and the movie, boom, they made the next year.
And I was reading
and
that,
was an immediate hit. That's crazy.
Who's the big 20th Century Fox? Zanuck bought this pretty much in galleys. Like, it was being published.
He's like, we're going to make that a movie.
And they knew that this would be a really great movie.
Sure.
And I would assume that this was a pretty best-selling novel that people were familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think so.
A hot one.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up the Gone Girl connection. Scott kind of made it earlier in the day. But the entire time watching it, I'm just thinking, how can we adapt this today? Like, what is we can't do a one-to-one because it's a little cuckoo. But
yeah,
but still, I think you could.
There's some
do
dated
it,
elements
right?
of it, but there's elements of the story that you still find in erotic thrillers. I mean,
Not even a
Fatal Attraction.
right.
Lifetime movies.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, speaking of that, I'm like, and we'll get into a little bit more, but I'm thinking, okay, all right, it's clearly, this isn't going to be a Julianne Moore. I think it's going to be somebody younger. Is it going to be a Blake Lively? Because she's Blake Lively, she's a kuka.
Maybe
She's a
not
little
Blake
out
right
there.
now.
Maybe not Blake right now. But I feel like maybe Aubrey Plaza could do something fun with this, kind of like scheming. You know, is she a femme fatale?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, but I think there's some like analyses that say maybe she's not.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
we'll
it's
talk
interesting
about
that it
but
doesn't.
yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it, but this movie does not revolve
Ellen.
around crime or money,
Right.
which I thought was kind of fascinating.
Yes.
Just her
Which
obsession.
makes it kind of
Right.
a little like.
And she's not, and I think the argument that she's not a femme fatale is that she's not trying to like turn him evil to do her bidding.
Mm-hmm.
She's just trying to
she just
get
loved too
everybody
much.
to hell out of her orbit.
She loved too hard.
Too hard. I love it.
Lana Del Rey loves this movie. You just know.
Oh
it.
yeah, this is right up her alley. But I mean, yeah. So immediately as we're watching it, we're just like, okay, Gene Tierney.
Isn't
Gene-
she everything?
Gene Tierney in that face.
Oh my gosh. But okay, I have to say though, as like someone who hadn't seen this movie before, I'm watching this and I'm also thinking that Gene Crane is
Beautiful.
also stunning.
She's beautiful.
Jean Crane is the
Ruth.
is the
the cousin.
cousin
Yeah, cousin,
slash
sister,
sister.
Ruth.
Yeah.
Sister.
Adopted
Yeah.
sister.
Yes, the adopted sister. There are shots of her in some of these outfits that I'm just like, she is just as
Yes,
beautiful
she is.
as Gene Tierney.
She kind of makes a good foil for Ellen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She has wholesome energy.
The girl with the hoe.
The gal.
the gal with the hoe. That little drawing, that little caricature, I love it. I
Well,
love that gal with
speaking
the hoe
of drawing,
caricature.
I'm obsessed with the cover of the book.
Right.
Which, can I just get that framed? Have you ever seen the cover of the book?
No.
Of the actual Leave Her to Heaven
No.
novel?
I would
No,
love a
I don't think I've
poster
seen
of
it.
the movie,
Yeah.
though.
We'll put this up on the socials, guys.
Oh yeah, they showed that when they
Yeah.
in the very beginning of the movie.
It's in the
Yeah.
it's in one of the early shots.
Yeah. I like that she's wearing pants in it.
Yeah.
She, doesn't Ellen kind of wear pants
wears a lot of
in this
pants,
film?
yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, I want one of everything that Ellen
Yeah.
wears in this movie.
I knew you both would die when she stepped off the train in that white fur coat.
Oh my God.
I knew you were going to die.
Yeah. But then immediately you see Ruth in this hat with the feather and
Yeah.
like all the, I'm just like,
Glamour
but who is
shots.
she though?
Glamour.
Yes, the glamour.
I like
glamour.
her. I like her red pants that she's just lounging around this main cabin with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They all look good. The mom looks good. Everyone is looking good.
Yeah, we can definitely do a whole post about the fits and fashions in this movie because I was living for Ellen had this like Asian Chinese inspired like robe.
She had her initials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so much monogrammed, everything monogrammed. But yeah, the big fur with the hat when she gets off the train, all of it, even the powder blue, robe.
Oh,
later
we
on in the
were
movie.
talking about the color of that powder blue robe.
It
is
looks so good.
You do not see women wearing that type of blue anymore.
It matched. Not only did it match the wallpaper, it matched the carpet.
And the Technicolor.
Yeah.
And that Technicolor looks so good.
Speaking of the Technicolor and how beautiful it looks, listeners, this movie is not quote unquote streaming for free anywhere. Like it's not on Netflix or Hulu or
Although-
anything like that. But we did find it on YouTube.
For
Yeah.
free.
We found that stream for free on YouTube right after we watched it on Plex with commercials once every 20 minutes.
Although
and the stream on
has
YouTube
commercials.
was better.
It was
Better quality.
It was a better quality.
But I have to say, the stream on YouTube almost looked colorized to me.
You
Maybe
think
I
so?
needed to watch more of it. But just kind of when I was clicking through it, I was like, this wasn't a black and white. This was a
it was
Technicolor
Technicolor.
movie.
Yep.
But maybe it was because I was watching
I mean,
it on my
especially
iPad.
for
If we watched it on TV, it might
I
look
mean,
better
this era
than
of
the iPad.
Hollywood, that this was the type of movie that Fox was putting money into. If they were going to do
You can tell they
color
did.
in the
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
It looks
all of the
great.
sets in this movie, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
But listeners, you definitely will be able to watch this movie on YouTube, look up Leave Her to Heaven 1945, and there's multiple streams of it for free. I mean, whether or
think
not
it's
you
found
have
an
ads.
audience just for being on, because that's how I heard about it. Was someone on a podcast saying you can watch this whole movie on YouTube for free, and that was years ago.
Which
so.
I mean, are we contributing to like movie piracy by like advocating for that?
I mean,
know.
weird that it's unavailable. Well, Fox and Disney are
Yeah.
a hot mess right now,
Yes.
especially with their back catalog.
Yeah.
But it's nice that it's available somewhere.
Right. But I kind of enjoyed the wraparound kind of bookend
Well,
of this
that's
movie.
also very noir.
Very noir.
I wonder
very
if that was in the book.
Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. Right. Because it starts off and I'm like, all right, who are these old dudes? What's happening?
Well, and also
What's happening?
predating Sunset Boulevard too.
Yeah, 1945.
Yeah.
But it's in color, so you don't think.
Yeah.
Of, you
This
know.
is true. But okay, I was not super familiar with Conrad Wild.
Cornell.
Not Conrad. Cornell Wild.
Cornell
So that's
Wild-
how unfamiliar with him I am.
I will say has kind of a poor man's Rock Hudson quality about him, but he does kind of predate Rock Hudson a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's shown up
yeah.
in some movies because I've watched so many old movies.
He was
and
born in
he'll show
Hungary.
up.
So interesting.
Oh, he was. And did
Yeah.
they change his name? Was it Cornelius or something?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
he's
his last
not,
name
he's
was
not American.
totally different.
Which couldn't have fooled me. He looks like a guy from the farm.
Yeah. No accent.
I think that's what
whatsoever.
they were going for.
Yeah.
He was wearing so much makeup in this movie.
He was. Vincent Price, another.
He showed up and you're like,
It's
"Whoa!"
fun to see, and it's fun to see Vincent Price in a very different type of role.
He was
Yes.
so handsome.
Yes.
Very handsome.
No mustache.
That smooth voice.
No facial hair. Just a very, very
His hairline.
early. Not spooky,
Yeah.
wooky Vincent Price. Just like a little bit of a jealous, jilted lover, but you know.
He was kind of menacing.
It was very menacing in that courtroom scene
Yeah.
at the end. I was like, "Oh, okay, we're going here." Another reason or another moment where I was like, "Okay, I can kind of see this being updated." Now there's a courtroom scene at
Sure.
the end. Like, all right, where are we going with this?
We'll get into it later, but I thought there was going to be a
Yeah.
last act twist in the very last scene of the movie.
Well, I think for the time, I think that was the twist.
Sure.
yeah.
The Richard going up on the stand and being him figuring it out and being like, "Nope, this is what happened," and everybody's just like, "What?"
I mean, this would be a really fun movie to go to the Carthay Circle Theater opening night. And for the audiences that didn't read the book,
Yeah.
were to just ask a little old lady coming out of this movie, just what did you think of this movie?
This would have been
Because
shocking.
I think that
Yeah.
audiences would not have known what to do with the character of Ellen.
No.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
just how women at that time were usually portrayed in movies. And if they were kind of an evil woman, it's a very different type of movie too,
Right.
that you would kind of think that you're getting into. Because Leave Her to Heaven, the title, it almost sounds like a women's picture. It sounds like
kind of
it sounds
is a
like
women's
a
picture.
Douglas Sirk movie.
Yeah, that's I think it's a quote from Shakespeare.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think it
from
just
Hamlet.
it just means like, well, she's gonna get hers essentially, right? Like let God deal
It does
with her,
sound like
right?
Cirque, though. It does sound like written
Yeah,
on the
it
wind.
sounds like
Yeah.
written on the wind or
All
something.
that heaven allows.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But that's another thing that I was thinking of because obviously we have what is the Julianne Moore kind of women's picture? What's that movie?
Far From Heaven.
Far From Heaven.
I love that.
So we have that, which is great, and it, for what it is, being like kind of a, I guess, parody, if you will, of those Douglas Sirk movies, right? And then even something like Polyester.
Oh, the scene where she throws herself down the stairs, I immediately thought of John Waters.
Could you believe that? In 1945?
That's something that John Waters would be obsessed with and would want
Well-
to
with
recreate
her,
it shot by
with
shot.
her mules.
The mules with the little fuzzy like marabou, like there wasn't marabou on them, but I wish there was.
And her loud scream and then the pause before everyone runs
The
down.
loud scream. So what I read was that they really like the production code was very much like,
Hays
what are we
Code.
going to do with this character?
I can't believe they got away with putting that
Yeah.
in a movie in 1945.
Yeah, because I think I read that they said that they didn't want her to essentially throw herself down the stairs to kind of terminate her pregnancy because she was. I think it said because she was gosh, I forgot what the quote was, but essentially not because she was crazy, like more so because she was like obsessed with, I forgot, but they had some weird, strange,
They had a way that they justified it.
Yeah. Roundabout way of getting there. And
maybe for at the time, if the head of Fox, Zanuck, was really going to bat for this movie, maybe just sort of the MPAA just kind of had to allow it. If it was getting the greenlit from the head of the studio, I don't know.
Right. But before we get too deep into the plot and some crazy plot twists and points, I do want to talk a little bit about Gene Tierney and the rest of the cast. We talked about a little bit about Vincent Price and Cornell Wilde, but Gene Tierney, I was not super familiar with. But what I do know is that she was kind of recognized for her beauty, really.
Yeah.
Just like being the face.
It's almost a sight gag in this movie of how beautiful she is.
You can't believe it.
Yeah, and I think at the time in movies, wasn't it kind of a deal that like, well, this woman was her legs, and this woman
Betty
was
Grable.
right. Betty Grable was known for her legs, and so and so was known for her tiny waist, and Gene Tierney was known for the face, right? Yeah. That's kind of her gag. What else do we recognize her from? What else?
She's famous for Laura. Yeah,
right. And that's also Vincent Price.
He's in that, and that is definitely a film noir.
Right,
Laura.
Right. Okay. We did also see that there is a Lux Radio production of this movie.
Was she in it?
Yes.
That's
Gene
great.
Tierney and Cornell Wilde both reprised. And I am a big fan of Lux Radio.
Those are all usually
dramas.
on podcasts.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they'll usually have the actors like Barbara Stanwyck did Double Indemnity.
We have the Sunset Boulevard with Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria Swanson and William Holden both did. We have it on vinyl.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I found it at a record store and I bought it, and it's great. It's they're short. They're an hour. They're about an hour. So they're just like truncated little, radio dramas, and they're cool because they cut in and they did like, this is, Lux Radio, and they do a little soap commercial, telling you about like Lux facial cream or whatever. But if you just search them in a podcast app, you'll find a channel that just has them all. So I would love to listen to this at some point.
I'm reading the quote that you were talking about earlier that Zanuck, co-founder of 20th Century Fox, said Tierney was unquestionably the most beautiful woman in movie history.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. Love it.
Contract player for 20th Century Fox, Leave Her to Heaven, the return of Frank James, Laura, Son of the Fury, the story of Benjamin Blake, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. I think that's also a really big one. Yeah. She dated JFK prior to him getting elected to office.
Yep.
And she dated him. I don't think that she had an affair with him.
Yeah, I think
they were an item before
on the level
he decided to run for office.
And then she's an actress, so he couldn't.
Oh.
Marry her.
And then there's also a JFK connection to one of her husbands.
Oh, she was married to Cassini, wasn't she?
Cassini, the fashion designer,
the one that she had
most known for the Jackie
with.
look.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and she has that whole situation with her daughter.
So
that
sad.
was,
she had quite the life.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, especially at the time where I think mental health, diagnosing stuff like bipolar was probably just really hard.
Right, but she had a child that had developmental issues, right?
Oh, sure.
Because
she was
she was exposed to. She was at one of those benefits that celebrities would hold, and then they were supposed to. The people attending shouldn't have been attending. They should have been quarantining, and they exposed her to I don't know what illness it was.
It was like rubella or something, right?
That's why
Scarlet fever.
Yeah, but that's why her baby.
Oh no! So while she's pregnant, she has like a meet and greet with like fans.
Yep.
From like probably like a magazine contest or something, and some fan that was stricken with like dropsy or like scarlet fever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says in.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it says in 1943, while she was pregnant, she contracted rubella, so German measles, likely from a fan that was ill with the disease.
And the daughter that she had developmental issues her entire life. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
It's really sad.
Wow.
Well, and also just kind of reading about her mental breakdown. That I mean, she went through electroshock therapy, and like what I was mentioning, just at a time where just sort of diagnosing stuff like bipolar disorder, or I mean, I don't
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I think after that period of mental illness, I think she kind of fled Hollywood, and I think she was working in like a department store or something.
They set her up a job at a department store, and that's where she met her last husband.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
And her last husband was like rich.
Okay.
Too.
Okay.
An oil baron.
An oil baron.
A Texas oil baron who had been married to Hedy Lamarr.
Oh, okay. So,
and I think that he just recognized her when he was in a store.
Can
she
you
was
imagine?
she was just sort of a checkout girl.
Huh.
Yeah,
and she was working at a store. She had kind of a minor comeback in movies too. That she did act.
She didn't
later
do,
in
like,
the 60s.
disaster movies or anything.
No.
Okay.
No, but did you read about how she was discovered? She was just walking across the stage, and some producer sign said,
"Hey,
that one,
sign that one,
that mug right there. We need that."
Yeah, seriously. Wow, what an
But I think Gene Tierney kind of has that I think people who really love old movies, they tend to go to bat for this one. That she's sort of the underrated movie star of this time.
Yeah. I mean, her character goes through some like wild
face journeys.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to talk about some of the scenes, but I mean, she's serving a phase.
She really
and
is.
It's not just that she's beautiful, but there's scenes where she's doing things that are like either unspeakable like crimes or just wild choices, and you're like, all right, okay.
And she's not overplaying it.
No.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially for this time where probably being subtle for a Hollywood actress.
Right.
No.
A lot of them didn't quite go in that direction.
Like imagine Joan in this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can talk about Joan later.
I could imagine Joan in this.
They were both in the same Best Actress category.
Okay. So, let's see. Ellen, what is her last name?
Ellen Berent.
Ellen Berent meets Richard Harland.
It's their screwball meet cute.
Yeah.
You were laughing at
the club car.
how Jean is holding the book. It's so comical of how she's holding that book.
Her face right in
For
the
the
spine.
face reveal.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have the
How
face
did you like
reveal.
that train traveling in luxury?
I love it. The club car that they're in, just in the back, and she's just like, "Here's my stop," and just.
I was surprised not everyone had a cigarette.
Yeah, absolutely. But what does he do? He quotes the book.
He quotes his own book at
But
her.
first she notices that she clocked him quoting the book, but she didn't quite know that he was the author until he introduced himself.
Yeah.
Right? And then, okay, so how does he end up at her family's house?
That is so unclear, but I think it was the lawyer. It was their mutual acquaintance. Because in that very beginning, that lawyer said, "Well, I'm the reason they met in the first place."
Right. Okay.
So
yeah.
I think they're just that lawyer is their mutual acquaintance.
It just so happened that he was going to literally. He would have met her anyway if they didn't meet on the train car.
And they are
showing up at the house.
And these are all of the New Mexico scenes.
Yes,
but shot in Sedona.
Shot in Sedona.
The outdoor.
I think some of the backgrounds were probably just plates in the art department.
Yeah.
Well,
but sometimes you can tell they're really outside.
Oh yeah,
and it looks so.
I mean,
good.
also
beautiful.
shooting on location for this type of movie, something that was probably done very infrequent.
But I noticed in the credits there was an optical effect
Yeah.
person credited. So I was like, oh, there's going to be special effects in
You
this
can tell they
movie.
put money because it looks so good.
Totally. But okay, so I know that there are a lot of, or there's mention when you look up this movie, in the trivia and on Wikipedia that there's a lot of like allusions to like Greek mythology and all of that. I'm like, oh, what are the allusions to Greek mythology going to be? Well, guess what? She is in love with her father.
No way.
We have the Electra
Very
complex.
much in love with her father.
Another reason Lana would love this movie.
Yes, that part. And I just love it when, pardon me, he says something along the lines of like, "Oh, I'm told that like I look like her father, like at dinner, and everybody's just kind of shocked. Like, we're like, what?
Well,
who told you that?
Well, there's something very unspoken about this movie with everybody's relationship
Right.
with her.
Right.
That they know that there's something not quite right with her. And I think that there is something up with the death of the father.
Yeah.
Too. That it's not really talked about a lot.
True. I do love the way the mother plays everything.
Yes.
The mom is really,
Yeah.
she has an angle, and her angle is that girl's not right. Right.
Yeah.
And she's very much like, he's like, oh, I she helps out Richard at one point. He's like, oh, I should dedicate my next book to you. And she's like, don't do that.
Doesn't she say, oh, yeah, to the mother? She says, no, dedicate all of them to
She
Ellen.
said, dedicate all your books to Ellen. Like, do not dedicate them to me. So they all know that she's like,
I did wonder why none of them warned him.
right.
Because they all know something's very wrong.
Well,
with
especially
her.
when they see it kind of come to fruition so quickly
Yeah.
during this weekend.
Are they all just terrified of her, probably?
Maybe it was just a bad seed situation, and they're just like, we made it this far. Let's just not poke the bear.
But I think it's kind of clever writing and acting is that it's never too obvious about any of it.
I
too.
know.
That you kind
It's-
of
it's
you
very
gradually
underplayed.
get it
Yeah.
with each scene of the movie that there's something off
And
about
how
her.
people react to her. Like
Yeah.
when they're all sitting around the dinner table.
Yeah.
That first night, it just seems like everyone's deferring to her.
Right.
Yeah.
We get a couple of clues in these early scenes in Sedona / New Mexico when she's like, okay, well, the reason that we're here is because my father just died and he wants his ashes to be spread here.
And
on
we
the
made a
grounds,
pact,
And we
too.
made a pact.
Yeah.
That I'm also going to.
Yeah, that I'm gonna do the same thing with me and all that. And you're like, all right. But then they show the scene where she actually
I
spreads
know,
the
that's
ashes.
so wild.
And that shit
It's
is
pretty fierce.
crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't she cunty?
Yeah.
She is just flinging those ashes
And
from
she-
side to side.
And she's really riding that
Yeah.
horse.
She's really riding
She
that
looked
horse.
great.
And she's looking straight ahead,
Yeah.
straight down the barrel, and
It is
just
fierce.
ashes flying everywhere, all over the horse, all over her. She doesn't care. It's so fierce.
It is really good.
And you're just like, oh, okay. She means business. And he's kind of watching like,
What?
all right.
hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what we're doing here. And then I think the second kind of big clue is when her old beau, Vincent Price, shows up. And she's just like, oh, why don't you meet my new fiance?
Well, and you almost think that they're doing a bit.
yeah.
Just like, can you help me get out of something with my ex-boyfriend?
Sure.
Because I don't want to marry him.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
And it turns out that she's for real too.
She jilted.
I mean, it's a bold move in general for a woman to propose to the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Not only
Even now,
proposed, just announced that they're engaged.
just
Yes.
announce that they're engaged. I mean,
She proposed
that's
after.
that's a bold move now. I would only imagine in 1945
Yeah.
if that were to happen.
What kind
she
of
could
woman
get away
is
with
this?
it because she looks like Gene Tierney.
Also that, yeah, also that. But yeah, I think Vincent Price is just like, what? Who? What? But so is so is
Everyone.
Richard. Yeah, everyone. But he's just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think maybe he's taking it kind of like that, like you said, Scott.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
He thinks that she's doing a little bit.
or else, yeah, just like, all right, let's just say this because the ex is here and whatever. But there she is, just like, all right, let's get married.
And then how everyone knows, like when I don't know if it's the first night they're all together, but Gene Crane is playing the piano and he comes out to talk to her and she's just like, yeah, Ellen's outside. And then he goes outside and the mom is standing there just admiring the scenery. Ellen went for a walk. They all just know that
Yep,
they know what he's
yeah,
after.
He's looking
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We were dead at Gene swimming in the pool pond, which I'm obsessed with ponds like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only seen this in another movie, which was The Parent Trap, is
Yeah.
a pond that's also a pool.
Did this remind you of Faye Dunaway?
Yes.
I mean, she has the big racing scene with the kids.
Yes, that's
she raises
exactly-
the children. Yeah,
That's exactly what we said.
She always wins.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like,
Ellen
oh, no.
always wins.
Ellen always wins. And I was like, the children? That she's racing?
She beats the children.
She beats the children
But-
every time.
But just her treading water with this full
Full beat.
Full beat.
Full lips.
looking so beautiful.
Like when she comes out of the water and her face is perfect. The red lip.
The red lip.
How did they do that in 1945?
Dewy skin. She just backed into the water with the full face.
That's how they did it.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
I don't
how
know.
did they achieve that makeup in 1945?
Oh, just the makeup look
and
alone.
with
Yeah.
her lips looking perfect.
Insane. Yeah.
But yeah, I love
Dewy skin.
I love the set. I love this house.
Yes.
And I'm assuming this is a full build that they
Yeah.
just made
It looked
for the
like
Or
movie.
maybe they found a house like that.
I don't know.
how do you-
I think it's a full build.
How do you build a deck onto like a pond, like a natural pond? What? That
It
is
was gorgeous.
wild. But you're right. It's almost exactly like the Parent Trap house.
And there are cactuses everywhere.
Yeah. I loved when he's talking to Ruth and he's like, "So what's your deal?" And she's like, "Well, her mother adopted me." And he's like, "What does that mean?" Like,
What about
yeah.
the dad?
It's kind of saved for later on. But
Yeah.
they do cut to his face just being like, her mother? What? Okay. Because they go by it quickly,
Yeah.
but then you're like, oh, yeah.
I mean, do you think that was probably so we don't judge this character too harshly when kind of they do get sweet on each other?
Ruth and
Just to kind of make it go down easier
Richard.
for
What,
that
audiences
she's adopted?
that she's adopted.
And then it's not the sister of
The
his
sister?
of his
It's the
ex-wife.
cousin.
The cousin. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I wonder what was going on in the book with that.
Right.
But it was just, I think that just informed, it helps us understand
Yes.
her relationship to her mother because what the mother says is, I never saw my husband because
Yep.
he was always with Ellen. So
Yep.
I adopted my niece
Yeah.
to have someone to spend time
Yeah.
with.
There was a moment when Ellen is describing her relationship with her father, and she's like, "He was always happiest when we were together, and so we were always together." It's like, oh, all right, and it's just kind of like it's slowly cluing you into their kind of like,
Weird
yeah,
dynamic, let's
Yeah.
say.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that picture that was supposed to be of her father, was that just Cornell Wilde with
I
like
think
a
so.
mustache?
Oh, maybe.
I think they just
Drawn
did-
onto his
yeah.
face.
I didn't think of that,
almost-
but yeah.
it almost looked like, was it a painting or
I think
like
it was just a
portrait?
photo,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
it just like he had a mustache or something.
I think it was a doctored picture
Yeah,
of him,
yeah.
or him in like some sort of disguise. But
So
yes.
but it was weird how they were all like, "What? I don't see it," but
Right.
they all must have seen it
Yeah.
right,
immediately.
when they were like, "What are you talking about?" And then they went to look at the picture.
maybe they just didn't want to
they didn't.
just humor
Well,
her.
yeah,
or
I think they were like, "No,
feed
no, no,
into
no,
it.
Yeah,
Let's
Yeah.
not encourage this.
yes, I think
Even
it
though
was
the
that.
only reason she attached herself to him was because he looks just like. What do you think of her? How she stares at him in that first scene? It feels like it lasts a minute.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it really does. But I feel when he sees the picture, he's like, "Oh yeah, we do look alike."
Yeah.
And he's into it. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. Like I love it." You're like, "Okay, all right, maybe don't feed into that too." But what does he know?
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything. So yeah, immediately they like get me.
We don't see it though.
We don't
No.
see it. I do love the way that they kind of delineate where we are from like the different
The different locations.
Sure.
Warm Springs, Georgia.
Yes,
I mean, I love all of the set pieces of this movie. There's something
Yes.
about all of these sets that I just want to. I just want to step through the
Yeah.
screen and
Yeah.
explore.
Into the Technicolor.
I just want to step into the screen and explore this Technicolored set of first of the New Mexico house, second of the
Warm Springs.
Warm Springs, which shot in Pasadena. It is shot
Yes.
in
one of the original Busch Gardens.
shot in one of the original Busch Gardens. So I didn't know about this until fairly recently. That I was watching. I think it happened one night, and I noticed in the IMDb shooting locations it said the Busch Gardens, and I noticed the address, and it's only like 2 miles away from us.
You could just
Yes.
walk down.
And
We
it is
could.
a very nice area of
Well,
Pasadena.
the thing is, Adolphus Busch, co-founder of Anheuser-Busch,
Yeah.
in 1906.
that guy.
Yeah, that him. He purchased a winter home in Pasadena, as many rich people did at the time.
because it's just off of Orange Grove Boulevard, where all of
Where
the
all
big mansions
big
were.
rich mansions were, and it was on 36 acres at the time.
Yeah.
And it was so big that they, landscaped it, and they made these ponds and waterfalls and gardens and all of that. And it became a big shooting location Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde,
Yeah.
The Adventures of Robin Hood, the 12 Oaks Barbecue at Gone with the Wind.
What?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Pasadena?
Was shot
And
at
it kind of,
Pasadena
and it
Busch
has
Gardens.
this like sprawling landscape, and I think that's why it ends up in all of
So
these
it could
movies.
be Georgia.
Yeah.
But the big gaggerini is that after Adolphus died, his wife offered it to the city of Pasadena
Wow.
as a city park, and they refused.
What's wrong with that?
And then
Yeah.
they
That was
ended-
very generous of her.
very generous.
Yeah.
And then they ended up closing the property, selling it off, and subdividing the land. And now it's
Like,
just a neighborhood.
I think that the house still might be there,
Probably the house,
but
is
they
there.
ended up subdividing. Yeah.
She had a vision for
The
that
estate.
place.
And that's the thing. There's several locations like that in the kind of the area. There's the old Descanso Gardens. There's the Huntington Gardens, which are
yep.
all that thing. They're all these old
Rich
rich
people.
dudes.
Yeah.
Had these winter houses there, and but that was one of the ones that didn't stick around. But so I think the exteriors where we meet Danny.
Where we meet the nephew.
It's not even his nephew; it's his brother.
It's his brother.
Why is
excuse
he
me.
like 20
Yep.
years
Why?
younger?
Yeah. Why is he 14?
Oh, wasn't it also crazy that Richard was supposed to be 30?
Sure.
Everyone-
I mean,
Oh my
this
God.
could be 30 in
Oh my
1945.
God,
He
yeah.
looked 45.
He
Yeah.
looked 45. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 if he was a day.
Nowadays, 30 looks like Timmy Chalamet.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Played by Daryl Hickman, who was a big child actor at this time.
Did you know? Okay, I've heard because I think I was listening to a podcast about this movie. He did a commentary track for the DVD, and he was so catty. In
Oh
it.
no!
Oh,
Yes, I guess he didn't get along with Gene
He's like,
Tierney.
here's that bitch again.
Yeah, I think she stayed in character.
Oh well, I did read that the director was kind of rude to him. In
Really?
his like swimming shots was just like, come on, kid, like
yeah.
And I think it's the IMDb
We're burning
trivia.
daylight here.
Yeah, and like wouldn't call him by his name and called him like boy and all
I
this
think
stuff. It
this
was like,
kid
ooh,
was also
yikes.
in. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's in Tea and Sympathy. I think he
Okay.
is.
Oh, he
Okay.
was in The Grapes of Wrath.
So let me tell you this about Daryl Hickman. Is that his name?
Daryl
Yeah.
Hickman, yep.
Daryl Hickman.
Danny.
And he has a brother who is also a child actor who was in The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis, which was a sitcom in the 60s. And he also went on to do a lot of beach movies with Frankie and Annette.
like those 60s.
Yeah, the American International Beach movies with Frankie and Annette. The brother did. But both of them went to my high school. They both graduated from Cathedral.
I love that.
Yeah, in probably the 40s or the early 50s.
Yeah, it looks like he was born in Hollywood.
But I love a teenager in like the 40s and the 50s.
And how they talk.
Hey.
shucks.
Gee.
Yeah.
Oh golly.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does say oh golly.
Yeah. For someone stricken with polio, he had mighty muscular legs. But you know, that's
Is it polio?
It was. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why
What
a
else
kid
could
is
it
in a
be?
wheelchair
Yeah.
in the 40s is polio.
Yep.
Yeah. But
You know what's wild? She really got him walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She could have been a force. She
Well,
could have
she
used
wants
her,
him to- she
Yeah,
wants him to
her
walk right out of there.
Her motives were rotten, but
No.
she really could have done, like if she used her powers for good.
I mean, yeah. She
She's like,
ruled
we're not
with-
going to be saddled with this one for the rest of
She
our lives.
ruled with an iron fist, but
Yeah.
she was like, "Hey, if I get this kid on his feet, like he can have his own place."
And that's literally why when she decided to kill him was
I
when
mean-
she's like, "You could go to Bar Harbor with Ruth. Wouldn't that be? Wouldn't you love that?"
No.
Listen,
Oh, okay.
I'd rather
No.
stay. Okay, you can literally see
just
her
keep
face
swimming.
change.
Yep.
It's so good. It's so well done.
So good. But before that, when she goes over Richard's head straight to the doctor,
I
and
know.
she's just like, "I need you to tell him that he needs to stay here."
That
And the
was
doctor's
a-
like, "No."
The way the doctor reacted to her
I
craziness.
mean, which she fully is just like, "He's a cripple."
I mean, he's a cripple. And then the doctor's face.
Yeah,
She's
the
like,
doctor's face
I'm sorry.
drops.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't.
I'm sure you didn't. And then he walks in, and Richard walks in, and she's just like, oh.
She's like, "Oh, darling, we've had the most wonderful news."
"Yeah." I'm sure, like, why isn't the doctor
It's literally
like,
mask on, mask on,
this
mask off.
bitch just said something completely different when you were in the room. Yeah, those scenes
That
were
was
crazy.
wild.
Yeah, but I love the setup of the cabin in Bar Harbor, right?
The walls are so. You know, she just wants to have sex all day. And
Yeah.
can't.
and little Danny's knocking on the door or knocking
was-
on the wall.
Well, first we get the reveal of their I Love Lucy beds.
I know. It's
Yeah.
so
And then
fun.
she gets into his bed.
They're even-
which I think for at that time, I mean,
Yeah.
that would have been a big deal.
Yeah, because I mean, the I Love Lucy beds were.
That's like the 50s.
And I think those beds were even closer together. But for this
Yeah.
one, I think as long as they're not like sleeping together, it's fine for her
Right.
to crawl into
They're
bed.
awake at this
Because
point.
I was watching. It was like a Stanwyck movie where
Mm-hmm.
they're like, and this was the first movie to show a married couple in bed together.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was in the 40s.
So, okay. So let me say this. Did you watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
No, only like the first season.
Okay. I watched
Same.
Just 2
the first
seasons.
season.
I didn't
Yeah.
finish it. But, and I mean, I don't know the historical accuracy, but I think they're trying to play it as accurate, quote unquote,
Yeah.
as possible. Her parents in the show did have separate
They
beds.
didn't sleep together.
They had twins,
little twin beds.
but they did make reference to them pushing them
Pushing.
together when they would.
That's
needed to.
wild.
Yeah, and I think that's more trouble that like.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how accurate that was, listeners, if you were around.
Or if that was just a quirk of those people.
Right. But yeah, I just thought it was so funny that he's just like, "Good morning, guys. Time to get up."
yeah.
And you know what?
Go want some breakfast.
I don't know what this says about me, but I was annoyed with
A
Danny.
little, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
And Richard. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be on your honeymoon and instead you're like, I'm going to go swimming with my brother instead.
Yeah,
like I would be
sure.
pissed too.
Yeah. Or at least say, hey, maybe we're going to do a honeymoon a couple of weeks together and then you can come live with us.
I
or
mean,
something. I don't
I feel
know.
like maybe if my family were to be sprung on me last minute that you didn't know that they were coming, maybe I would be a little ticked off too.
Yeah.
So
Her face,
I kind
though,
of get you, Ellen.
when she sees the
Kills
motorboat
me.
and she just sees Ruth. It's so good.
Yeah,
She's
when
so
they,
pissed.
when they show up out of nowhere, that is crazy.
I'm surprised that the family was into this.
Right, that Ruth and the mom.
And then it seemed immediately
agreed.
that Ruth was
Yeah.
like, we should not have
We
come
should-
here.
Yeah.
We are going to leave.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is a terrible
but,
idea.
Yeah, but I think it was really smart to kind of show this idea of like, the walls here are paper thin.
Yep.
And then she uses that when she needs to use it. If I'm going to yell at him, if I'm going to, like be quiet with him, like she knows that people can hear and she
Yeah.
tells him about it all the time. So
I think that was
clever
like one of her
stuff.
best acting moments was when she like yells at when they're all like playing guitar.
Yeah.
And that
Oh my
was,
God.
did you recognize that Chill Wills?
So
He was in Harvey Girls and in Meet Me in
Okay.
St.
Oh, okay.
and Meet Me in St. Louis.
The guy that was playing the guitar?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leak. Yeah,
Leak,
but when
sure.
they're all just like having this cheeseball good time and she's so salty.
She's just so over it.
And
yeah.
she, like the look she gives Danny when he tries to hold the crutch up on his foot.
And it immediately falls.
yeah, that was really funny.
Look what I can do.
Yeah.
And then-
What? Nothing.
Yeah,
That's what you can do.
But yeah, one of her best acting moments is when they're fighting in the bedroom, and she goes, "Well, something like, well, God forbid I disturb Danny or Ruth or Mother," and she looks crazy,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
immediately is like, "Oh,
Yeah.
let me walk this back."
I think that it's in these scenes that she's wearing my favorite outfit. It's
Yeah.
it's the red pants.
Yeah, it's costumes by I think Kay Nelson. I think
Her
it
red,
was.
her red like lounging pants. They're so fierce.
She wears so many pantsuits, and
Yeah.
like the monogram, that beautiful white monogram suit. That's pants. She
Yeah.
looks so good.
Yeah. See, but it seems like that kind of lead me to think like if they were to do something like this today and try and make it as close as possible, would they lean into some like comedic elements?
Sure.
You know, because there's some
No, I
some
get you.
stuff that's like
Like you could push the dark comedy even further now in a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Kay Nelson.
Kay Nelson
did the costumes.
Beautiful. We need to ensure that Emerald Fennell never gets her hands on this property.
Oh, I could see Emerald Fennell.
No, she's not allowed. Anyone else? Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
I mean, I guess that there's some kind of Saltburn energy going on in this movie a little
yeah,
bit.
she's not allowed to. Greta Gerwig over her.
sure, okay, I'll take it.
But
take it.
did you both love the cabin set? Because I loved
Oh, it
it.
was
Yeah.
beautiful.
It was beautiful.
All
Yeah.
of the sets were.
I mean, okay, so which house would you want to live in?
Oh, definitely the
The New Mexico,
oh,
the New Mexico house,
1000%.
the cabin by the lake, or the Maine cottage?
New Mexico, 100%.
I think I would do cabin by the lake.
in the Back of the Moon one. Mm-hmm. That was a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
Wait, where Danny was trying to swim, that's Back of the Moon.
That's in Maine.
Right.
And then there's Bar Harbor.
Bar Harbor is just a little bit more mansion-y, just like right.
Yep.
There was some set decoration in that house.
Bar Harbor was
in
very
the Bar
polyester.
Harbor that I was just
very
like, this is
polyester,
like
yeah.
stepping into your great grandma's house.
The curtains.
That
the baby room.
It's something that
Baby room.
an older generation had in like vanities, a
Yep.
piece of cloth over it.
Oh, sure. Just,
the one where she falls down the stairs. That's the one in Bar Harbor. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Where Ruth is posing for the clown.
Oh, that was so disturbing.
Mural.
That was so creepy. Oh, why is he painting that on the wall?
I did love the paper hat though. The paper clown hat that she was wearing and
cone
then
hat.
he was wearing.
cone.
The cone like dunce cap.
So to
Yep.
kind of go back to the scene where she pretty much lets Danny drown.
Yeah.
Is it giving you a little Amy Dunne when
yeah.
she murders NPH? Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of just see
obviously
that.
no blood.
You
Obviously.
kind of just see
yeah,
that blank look on her face.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Except it's so epic because she has sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's the cover of the Criterion.
Is it like a trench with the shoulder pads?
Yeah, she looks. Has anyone looked cuntier
I
than
mean,
that?
Yeah, so beautiful.
And
If you're gonna murder a teenage child, this is the way to do it.
and not for nothing. I mean, people from that time really had like multiple hyphenates talents.
Yeah.
I cannot row a damn boat to save my
She
life.
was very. She
Yeah.
was doing it like the way normally you do it backwards.
Yeah, no,
doing
she was
it
rowing forwards. Like this is so
I mean,
backwards.
yeah.
Essentially,
They had to have her
Yeah.
row that boat in the middle of the pond, so she
Yeah.
had to figure it out.
Yeah.
We always talk about that of just kind of people from an older generation, like our
Could do
our
anything.
grandmothers.
They could do anything.
They could really take a rowboat.
Yeah.
I mean, even like one that has
A little
motor on it.
sailboat, or they could figure out how to do a little.
Yeah.
We always, whenever we watch the birds, we always like gasp
When she
whenever
gets in the boat.
Tippi Hedren gets in that little boat.
Okay. No, there's a shot at the very beginning of this movie when he jumps in the boat before the flashback even
Yeah.
starts. He jumps in that boat in a full suit and just takes off. I'm like, oh my God. But then there was a very similar Birds-esque shot, but
Yeah.
it's not quite as successful as in the Birds.
It's shot so well. The scene where she lets him drown.
Oh no, it's great.
Her delivery is so good.
Her intensity.
I would have
is
liked to have
just-
seen an Alfred Hitchcock pass of this movie.
Yeah.
Would have been interesting.
Do you think he would have done it in color, though? I wonder if he would have
Possibly.
not wanted to do it in color.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean,
Maybe he wouldn't
Hitchcock,
have.
I think at the time was doing stuff like Notorious with Ingrid
Yeah.
Bergman, so it would have been on theme
Oh yeah.
with some of his movies.
I think it was a great choice, and I think a very unusual and a really strong choice for a movie in 1945 not to have any music in that.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
it's oh yeah, especially for that scene.
Yeah. What
So-
a choice.
So Danny's whole thing is that Richard lets him swim, even though he's like stricken with polio.
Yeah, his legs.
And his legs.
They're trying to strengthen his legs.
He can strengthen his legs, and it's also sort of like a water exercise.
Therapeutic.
too.
It's
Yeah.
therapeutic.
But there were lines earlier of him saying like, "No, let me swim out to the island," and Richard's
Yeah.
like, "No, you can't." And she's making it as like,
in secret.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna surprise him.
yes, you're gonna practice.
I'm gonna follow you in the
and
boat.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna coach you, and you're gonna make it, and we're gonna surprise them. And wouldn't that be great? And so Danny's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it."
Yep.
And he's just like swimming, and I love that he's just like, "Oh no, crab!"
Yeah.
My
Like, I
stomach.
just ate.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well, did you guys think of? I think that you see a shot of her in the boat. That there was a part of me that did kind of think it would go in the bad sea direction. That she would end up hitting
Scott
him
thought
over-
she was gonna
I
knock
thought she
him
was
off.
gonna.
Oh.
I thought she was gonna hit him over the head with
Full
one of
on
the oars.
Ripley.
Oh, you did.
Full on Ripley status. But
Maybe that would have been a little too intense
That
for
would've
been-
1945.
I wonder if in the book she hits him. Maybe
Yeah.
no. I think she would have been too smart because they would have seen.
right because they pull him out of the
because he needs to
water.
drown.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there would have been marks all over his head.
Yes. Yeah.
He only pops up. He only bobs up once, and then he's
Yeah.
And then
he's
it's just gone. Just
Sinks right to the
bubbles.
bottom.
Yeah.
he is gone.
And she's just like, "Well, I tried to say you saw me jump
And
in."
then dead-eyed, and then here's and then takes off her trench coat,
Yes.
and she's in her little blue swimsuit.
Oh my God! Underneath the trench coat and the sunglasses.
She's a good swimmer. swimmer.
She's a great swimmer,
Yeah.
and she's good at timing the scream exactly right.
Yeah.
As we find out
She's-
a little later.
She's really good. Yeah, she's really good in this.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene is iconic.
Mm-hmm.
I read, that they were like practicing, they were doing, rehearsals, and she did it great in the rehearsal, and the director was like, well, fuck, she's never going to get it that good again.
But she did.
And she
She nailed it on the day.
She nailed it on the day.
Seeing that the cinematographer, he and Charles Lang shared the record for the most Oscar nominations for cinematography.
Oh.
Well, they deserved
He has
it.
4 wins
Yeah.
after 4 wins and 18 nominations.
I mean, it was a beautifully shot
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know who else? There's another name that popped up that I've seen in the old movies I've done for my podcast. The Technicolor director was a woman named Natalie Kalmus, and she did
Oh.
Technicolor on, I believe, Meet Me in St. Louis and Harvey Girls.
Oh, wow.
So
I love it.
I think it was she and her husband who really pioneered that technology, and she was an expert in it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I love that there were
Yeah.
Technicolor directors.
Yeah.
That was just like, this is really
And it
tough.
looks so good. It was just
Yeah.
luscious.
It looks
The
beautiful.
colors just look different
Yeah.
with that color.
Sure.
Oh,
technique.
absolutely.
Well, I'm seeing that Leon has the sole cinematography credit. So maybe she did something else.
Oh no, it's just like in the rolling credits you just see Technicolor director
Technicolor
Natalie
director,
Kalmus. Yeah. It's like its own special
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
credit. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it did get nominated for Best Art Direction. I
those
love all of these sets.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's so many, and there's just like different mansion after mansion that you're just like, yeah,
You can't see the money that went into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already sitting here saying like, which one do we want to live in? So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do just want to live in Bar Harbor because it's just a nice mansion. I don't want to.
Maine.
It looks a little dated, though.
It does.
really did.
I think the cabin's a little more charming. You could do more with it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
I was just like, oh, they went to or they were supposed to go to Taos. I want to see that Taos location. Have you been to Taos?
I've not been to Taos. I
it's
don't believe.
beautiful,
Okay,
yeah.
I think I would remember. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
so. Yeah, I'm kind of deciding if I want the real lake or if I want the pond with a deck in it.
That was so cool.
That
Yeah.
was really cool.
Don't you love when he's sitting there in his typewriter and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he hears hello and Ruth is on she's like on the pergola.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, she's the gal with the hoe.
She's
She
earthy.
loves her.
See, if I were going to have a
gardening.
Twitter account, gal with a hoe.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So, all right, let's just moving on a little bit. Richard is so despondent over Danny's death, and I love that Ruth kind of like just suggests like,
Why don't you get pregnant?
yeah,
Yeah.
Ruth actually is trying to help.
she is. I mean, yeah, I think she just feels like, well, we just have to make the best of the situation. They're married, so
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
But she loves him so much that she can't share him with anyone.
Not even her
Not
own
even her
baby.
own child. I love that reveal of her in the clown hat, modeling for the nursery
For the
mural.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. But at first, I was like, "Is she really pregnant? Is she actually?"
she
but
was.
she was
Yeah.
because
And it's something about her is where she will show her true colors to
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Like to Ruth, where she's
If
like,
she's really pushed like to the edge, she will.
when she says, so she's kind of in that way less scary than like an Amy Dunne.
yeah, true.
But
Yeah.
she is like, I hate the little beast.
Yeah.
There's that,
Well, I mean, Amy Dunne also she has a baby to save the marriage too.
yeah,
So Amy was all about it.
yeah.
But she didn't really have a baby, though. Amy, did she? No.
Well, she faked with
faked
her
it.
friend's urine, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's pregnant.
she faked the
She's
pregnancy.
pregnant at the end. Well, no, she's not pregnant.
Not
at the end.
pregnant at the end of the movie. She
Yeah.
faked it. Yeah.
But do you think Gillian Flynn saw this?
I think that she would have had to have been
Yeah,
familiar
I
with
think
this
it's-
movie.
Yeah, I think it's
because I
famous
mean, it's
enough.
really you can see
Yeah.
how closely aligned.
Yeah. Agreed.
What I want to know what would Ellen Barron's cool girl monologue be? I want to hear Gene Tierney do the cool girl monologue.
even like their meet cute on the train, it also reminds me of that scene in the party
yeah,
where they
they're-
first meet, of just kind of these two that just think that they're so cool for the room.
Yeah.
And they're making
Because
these
she calls
little,
him on
these
the
little
like,
observations.
I know that
Yeah.
quote already. And
She finds it.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And then that's when he started calling her patchouli.
Right.
But then stopped when they
Yeah.
were growing apart from each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he has had any reason to doubt her in Danny's death, but I don't know. Do you think he kind of was suspecting something?
Well, he knows that something was up.
Because she clearly disliked.
She did. That's true.
And I don't think that it's really in the character of Danny to maybe swim out that far unless
right.
he was
being pushed.
If
He was pushed to.
anything, he's just like you should have known.
You shouldn't have
better.
not
You shouldn't
have
been
even let
out
it
there.
happen.
Yeah. That's true.
And then she like tries to lie and then just is like, no, I did it.
She tells him pretty.
Yeah, she folds pretty quick.
Yep.
And is this after she falls down the stairs too?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want to talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about that scene. That scene is so insane.
Do you like
Yeah.
her mirror acting though?
Yeah.
When you can tell when she gets the idea, her face.
Yes, yeah, because she's just kind of like you. Yeah, there's a whole sequence of no dialogue.
wheels
Well, she's
turning.
so
Yeah.
she's so mad when that doctor tells her that she's not supposed to get out of bed too.
And she hates how she looks. Mm-hmm. And doesn't he yell at her for eating shrimp?
I mean,
So when he yells at her for eating shrimp,
is that a thing?
no,
That pregnant women aren't
it's-
supposed to eat shrimp?
I thought it was that,
That's
but
fish, right?
I thought it was that, but he just says, "You know how you don't how your stomach disagrees with it." I think he was just telling her like you just
Is that like their concierge doctor who's like, well, I've known you since you were
Yes,
8 and
yeah.
shrimp doesn't agree with you.
I think
what
so.
was it? It was,
because I assumed it was a fish thing and like a pregnancy thing.
because pregnant women aren't supposed to eat.
Right. But then he does say something to the effect of like, you know, it doesn't agree with you. And I think he meant like you personally.
Yeah.
According to a Google search, yes, pregnant women can eat shrimp.
Yeah. I think he was just saying like, you know, you get indigestion when you eat shrimp. So now that you're pregnant, it's going to be worse.
Why was Ellen eating?
She just loves
She's in
shrimp,
Bar Harbor.
a shrimp cocktail.
You know what else is crazy is like, I don't know if it's literally the scene after she falls down the stairs on purpose,
Yeah.
but then you just see her like living her best life on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, I did love the fact that she was just like, I can't stand the way I look or whatever.
I look awful.
She looked the same. She was not showing.
She just had maybe a fake little.
Was she even
little
showing a little bit?
padded
Did you
tummy.
notice? I couldn't
But
even
it's
tell.
freaking Gene Tierney.
Yeah.
She's like looks 100 times better than
yeah.
than any woman
and she's
on
just
any
in
day.
these like fabulous, luxurious robes
Yeah.
with marabou and feathers.
What did you think
and-
of the different hairstyles for her?
Yeah, well, they started putting it up at that point, didn't they? When she was
Yeah.
when she was pregnant, I think.
I think so.
It was a little bit
And
more
then
up.
I'm pretty sure she always has the full makeup. Like when
Oh,
she
yeah,
wakes
no,
up in Back of the Moon and she's full.
Yeah.
Full beat.
Full mug every time. No, yeah.
That's another thing that happened on Mrs. Maisel. I do remember is like both the mom and Mrs. Maisel would
Wake up
like
early.
wake up and put the make. That seems like something Ellen would do too. Is
Oh,
like
yeah.
wake up at 4, put on the full face.
I
and then
mean,
go back to sleep.
I still know women that do that.
Really,
Oh, yeah.
like and then go back to bed so that they
And
wake
fake
up.
it.
So that they wake up with makeup on.
Jennifer Tilly talked about doing that on Housewives
She sure did.
this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Does
That's crazy. That sounds like Jenna Maroney.
Yeah.
But do you remember that joke of Jenna Maroney doing that?
I mean, it's in Bridesmaids too.
Oh, when Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig does it for John Hamm. When the new book arrives and she sees
The dedication.
is that after the falling downstairs?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's after,
Okay.
right?
Because that's when she like loses her mind, right?
Okay, so then
Well, it's really the dedication that pushes
Yeah.
her over the edge. I love the dedication has a little drawing.
the drawing.
It's
I love the
cute.
caricature. I'd get that.
What
as
kind of a
tattoo.
novelist is he, too?
Well, that passage that he quoted in the beginning seemed very romantic.
Okay.
Right, it did. Yeah. So is it just like I don't know, like schlock romance?
It kind of seemed, but it seemed like he had like artistic pretensions when she's like, "Well, I learned everything about you from the Dust Jacket. Like you went to Harvard and you edited the Lampoon, and then you went to Paris and you studied painting." And
Yeah.
it seems like he had like artistic pretensions. So, like,
Yeah.
maybe he was more of a literary
I mean, he was
type.
painting that mural on the wall.
clown.
Yeah.
He must have done the gal with the hoe sketch too. That must have been him, right?
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
I doubt,
But,
I doubt he did a caricature of Ellen.
No, he would even.
She would never.
Yeah, no. What is a caricature of patchouli?
Right? Yeah.
But like we said, these old timey people were all triple threats. So he could have just
Yeah.
known how to draw and an accomplished novelist.
Oh, this actor was He
Cornell?
was a Olympic fencer. Am I just making that up?
Cornell? Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, here, let
Do
me
you
look
think
it up.
he did it in some movies? Did he ever play like one of the
I'm
Musketeers?
pretty sure that he was an Olympic fencer.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh. So my dog is 110 pounds and is in
We have a dog on the
Pete's
counter.
face right now.
His
Yep.
head is like
Huge.
he's like a bear.
That's Belly.
I love
Belly's a
it.
girl.
Oh, Belly, you lady, your head.
She wants your microphone.
Okay, so it looks like
No. You
Oh.
get down. You get down now. This is very funny.
he qualified for the United States fencing team for the 1936 Summer Olympics. But yeah, it looks like he qualified for the United States fencing team for the 1936 Summer Olympics.
And this is Richard. This is the main.
this was
Cornell?
the actor
Wow.
who plays Richard.
He
Okay.
had to have done it in a movie. Like, why would? Yeah, that's really cool. What do you think of when, like, the juxtaposition of Ellen basically coercing him into marriage, and
Right.
then being like, "No, I don't want. I want to do all the housework. I don't want anyone touching your food.
She can't.
I'm going
she
to
can't
wash
share them with anyone.
all of your clothes."
And he's
gonna
just
wash
like,
all of your
and he's just
clothes.
like, really? All right.
She's like,
Okay.
she's like, yes, I'm the kind of woman who will propose to the man I've known for 3 days, but I'm also going to trad wife, like,
Yeah.
really hard. But it's mostly just because she doesn't want to share them with him.
No, yeah,
That's like the
absolutely.
only
Yeah.
reason. You know?
Yeah, yeah. The conversation that they had when she was talking about, like, why were they having the conversation about proposals? Was she reading she was reading an excerpt from the book.
Yeah, and she's
like, men don't propose, men don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Because men never
propose
ask.
to women.
It was really
Yeah.
weird.
Well, and it's
It was
also
weird.
her just kind of way of saying that it's the women that have the power.
yeah.
Too.
And he's like, I've asked plenty of women to marry
He
me.
goes, hundreds. And I'm
Hundreds,
like, don't
yeah.
joke about
Yeah,
that.
right.
But then she gets stuck on, because someone mentioned his ex-girlfriend, or she was
Sure.
stuck
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
Did
I
she
kind of thought the ex-girlfriend was going to make an
was going to
appearance
pop up?
somewhere.
And she goes, well, did you ask her? Did you ask her to get married? Her name was like Enid or something.
Right.
And I'm
Gosh,
doing
did she ever wear this in the movie?
I think she
It's just a
does.
publicity shot.
and I'm doing the math of
this
when
color. I
when
love that coral.
when Richard would have gone to high school. I'm just like, when would he have gone to high school?
Was this set in 1945? And he's
would have
supposed
been
to be
like-
30.
Yeah.
It's been like the late 20s.
Yeah.
Did he go to
gosh.
school at the like the stock market crash? I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how did the Berents survive the crash? Because, they were rich.
Yeah, that's true. We don't
We don't discuss money matters.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, you're right. That was a great conversation when she's like, men don't talk like
Yeah.
this.
And she's like, well, did you propose to me? Did you ask me to marry you? Ooh.
No,
Nope, sure didn't. That's a sore subject.
you beat him to it.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's the book dedication where she really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is
Loses
like
it.
her.
Well, I was surprised.
this is like her game over plan.
I was
this is-
surprised as an audience member that he did that after the mother specifically told
He
him
seems
not
really
to.
stupid, right?
He doesn't
Yeah.
seem very bright.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no. She said not to do that.
So this is when it really turns into the suicide mission for her.
Yeah,
too. This is when-
she almost immediately decides.
Yeah.
She like goes into the basement to get the arsenic.
This, like, Dr.
Okay,
Frankenstein
so
basement, first of all.
we were a little confused by that.
Yeah.
Because she goes in the basement to get the arsenic because, I mean, houses back then
Had
there was-
arsenic?
There was arsenic
Yeah.
probably in every
For
single
rat
room.
poison.
But I
you know.
but I love that the whole time during the trial, Vincent Price referred to it as poison. Just poison. Just like
Death
a bottle
by
marked
poison.
But you see her bring it up to the bathroom.
and put it in Ruth in like
And we know it's in Ruth's bathroom because there's monogrammed towels.
RB.
That's it,
So
RB.
then,
So you're like,
does
"Ooh,
she
it's
put it
Ruth."
in the bathroom so it would be traced back to Ruth somehow?
That this is clearly Ruth's bottle of bath salts
yeah.
that you just have. That everyone has their own personal bath salts in their own personal bathroom. And it's full of arsenic.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm thinking of the psychology of Ellen, because she doesn't kill Ruth, she kills herself.
Right.
So it's like
This is crazy.
It's like she's throwing in the
She's given up.
She's given up.
Because does she feel like she's lost him forever?
She feels like she's lost him forever, and if I'm going to lose him forever, I'm taking
you down.
I'm taking you down with me.
Like, I'm going to die, but you also need to.
Does she have a conversation with him of just like the girl with the hoe and why did you?
Well,
are you in love with Ruth instead of me?
She corners Ruth about that, where she's
Ruth
like,
about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's kind of for you, the audience member. You really see Ruth's feelings
Because she's like, I'm going to Mexico. I need
in
to
the courtroom.
Sure.
That maybe you're not really sure if she feels the same way about him.
Oh, you know what though?
She
go on.
breaks down in the courtroom.
Go on. Yeah,
and says that she loves him.
Okay, I think what we didn't mention is that when she does admit to killing or not saving Danny, Richard says, I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
He tells her
That's
right
when
then
she-
and there. He's like, okay, I can't deal with this anymore. I am leaving you now. And so I think that is when.
That's really the moment.
And it must happen right away because he gets a call like at the train station that's like, your wife is dying.
Sure.
So I think she does it almost immediately.
Yeah. So I did love the letter that she writes to Vincent Price, though, that she's just like, all
Russ.
right. Laying it all out there.
Yep.
Just like,
Yeah, I was curious of how Vincent Price was going to come back in the story.
yeah.
And boy, did he.
I mean, this is when it.
He's the
This is
DA.
when it comes in handy when an ex-lover is a lawyer
DA?
and the DA,
Yeah, the district attorney.
Which I'm surprised of just sort of even back in the 40s. I'm kind of surprised that he could even take on this case if he was so close with her.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this was just license that the
Right.
writer. You know what I did notice though, because like we just talked about the movie Chicago on my podcast, and there were no women on the jury in the. Women weren't on juries in the 20s,
Right.
Sure,
But in this one, I looked, and
there's a woman on the.
There were a couple of
Yeah.
women on the jury because it was 1945. So I did take note of that.
I mean, this courtroom is kind of out and wild. They're just kind of saying anything.
You know, like,
this is like some
that
Anatomy
movie?
of a Fall.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the Sandra Hüller?
Yeah.
The drama.
Everybody's just chiming in whenever they want.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Except they're
totally.
just not wearing those crazy wigs.
Yeah. No, I did kind of think of Anatomy of a Fall. Kind of
imagine
French.
Sandra Hüller as Ellen Berent.
Okay.
Okay,
I could do that. I could do
Okay.
that.
Well, it's kind of another interesting pass of this material too. is
Yeah.
kind of doing a whole movie that would
a European
just
version.
focus on the courtroom aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, but you'd want to see like Ellen Berent up there.
Do you think that it would have been a big choice that we do not see the picnic too at the time? That it's only being described in the courtroom? That they didn't actually shoot any of this? I think that would have been very interesting at the time.
Yeah.
That you didn't see any of it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too because they just start alluding to everything that had happened with like the coffee and the sugar, and she's the only one that drinks sugar.
Who
Who put sugar in an envelope?
She took off her she took off her coat and she
Ellen.
gave it to Ellen too.
Sugar in an envelope does not seem like a very efficient way of transporting sugar from one place to the next. But
That's a little odd, isn't it?
you know. Yeah, no, you're right. It immediately cuts to we are at the trial, and Vincent Price is cross-examining, and he is going in. He's out for blood.
It was crazy that she died. That like how much time was left in the movie and she was dead? Like 15 minutes?
And also, they
was
made it
gone.
sound like the picnic was like that day, and she died that night.
Yeah.
So it was
Well, I mean, he's at the train station
Yeah, and they
when he gets the
call
call. Yeah.
She didn't waste any time.
no, yeah.
She really, it's all or nothing for her. What do you think about her death scene?
Oh my god. I loved when he gets to the house, and is it Ruth that's on the phone with the doctor?
Yeah, and she's there at her bedside.
And she's just like, she's getting worse. I need you to come at once.
I mean, this is at the point where I thought there was going to be a last scene reveal that she's not actually dead.
Yeah.
And I get if you break
Amy
all of
Dunne.
it down
Yeah.
of just sort of the spreading of the ashes, that it doesn't really work out. I don't know. I thought there was going to be a last reveal
She's alive.
where Ellen gets the last laugh and you see her. But I don't know how you would have worked that out in the plot.
Yeah.
I guess she has to be dead.
Yeah, because she would never let him go, right?
Right.
If she was alive, she would.
No, yeah, I think that's the
She'd be
idea,
after
is
him.
that she would either just try to kill off Ruth.
I think she just made up her mind.
Well, we also have to punish this character, too.
And that's
She has
that's
to die.
That's
we have
the
to we
thing,
have to
too.
punish this character with
death.
I feel like you're right. I think it would be
with the production
it
code
would be a
and all.
current kind of thing to see her still alive, but then
like an Amy Dunne.
right, yeah, but we do need her to be. Yeah.
Do you like how she dies and she's literally like clutching onto him? She says, "I'll never
And
let
she
you
just
go."
and she just like
She just
Yeah. Yeah, he has to pull his hand
still with
out
the
of-
red lip.
Yes.
Still has the red lip.
Yeah, out of her like claw is still like clutching onto him. Oh my god.
And she had that line early in the movie when she's like, "The people we love never die."
sure.
Chilling.
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
So I thought there was going to be a last act reveal about being colorblind, because he mentions to her that he's colorblind. Because I think that it's why he
sure.
didn't end up getting in the Air Force or the
Military,
Army
yeah.
or something, that he mentions that he's colorblind to her. I thought that was going to
That
come
is
back
a
somewhere.
weird
Because I
thing
just
to-
thought that was so specific.
Yeah, that's like a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah,
kind of
that I
thing.
thought
Right.
we were going to pay that off
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's odd. That's really weird.
Yeah, I didn't even remember. I didn't even clock it the first time.
No, neither did I.
Yeah. Let's see. I did love that the courtroom is like full of like reporters.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
anytime there was a big moment of like order, like all the
Gasp.
reporters like
Yeah.
running out of the room to go call their editors, just like I got a break, chief.
Ruth is also serving face the whole time.
Just the reveal, like the Chicago reveal of the papers of guilty and not guilty.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
When she faints.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, do you want to talk about your favorite looks? We've kind of talked about our favorite looks.
I mean, I think
already.
that my favorite look is the red pants.
Oh, those red pants.
Okay, let me see if I can find a picture of the red pants.
There were more looks than I remember.
The glasses are iconic too.
Yeah.
Those sunglasses.
Sunglasses are great.
Her in the boat with that trench coat.
with the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, her look in the very first shot in the train car I kind of love, because I love that like kind of teal green, almost emerald, like the way the train car is. The colors of it are beautiful.
Yeah. The clothes are they really remind me of like Katharine Hepburn.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
She even kind of has that Katharine Hepburn silhouette too.
Yeah.
she really does. When she was walking from behind with the hair.
And especially of how she does menswear too.
I know.
It's very chic.
Yeah.
Like when she has the jacket on her shoulders, but her arms are out.
Oh,
the
yes.
jacket. That was very Kate Hepburn.
Yes.
And also like Lauren Bacall, kind of.
Well, she
I
has
see
her
that
whole
as well.
she has her whole cabin look of when
Yeah.
she's just like she's playing the role of the cabin wife.
Kevin White.
And she's wearing jeans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she is. She's wearing dungarees at one point.
Oh yeah, here it is. This is the first scene, and she's got her gold like choker on with the square shoulder. She
yeah.
looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is wearing at some point. Oh, it's when she has the book and she's noticing the inscription. She's wearing like a green, I don't know if it's a dress or a blouse with like a red collar.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the like quilted Chinese?
Oh, you know these women love brooches. They are all wearing brooches
Yeah.
like all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, she has to be one of the best dressed.
Yeah. She's mythic
Yeah.
in this movie. She really
Femme
is.
fatales.
Yeah. Oh, I love this one. Look at this one.
Yeah.
I would put this on my wall.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is that a publicity picture?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
But
it
she's
has
like
to
standing
be.
by a very fake looking tree in her belted
A very fake looking tree.
with her like gold bangles.
Yes, when she's at the cabin, you're right, Scott. She's wearing like a plaid top with
Yeah, I
jeans.
like that.
Yeah, when she's pregnant, she's kind of looking a
Yeah.
little I Love Lucy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Christmas cards.
We also love the swimming cap with the full
she
mug.
even looks good in that. That's crazy. She even looks good with that on. Don't you love her little overbite too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't there been a conversation about ever since White Lotus season 3 about like wanting to see people with real teeth?
Yeah. No more veneers. We're in an
Was this her?
anti-veneer
And
moment.
then it was like Walton Goggins, like people that kind of just look like real people.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. I think having there's a specific kind of thing where if you have like if you can have a resting face and your mouth opens slightly and you can see teeth.
Yeah.
It's like I think like photographer, like artists.
RuPaul
like that.
always
Sexy.
RuPaul when he
Yeah.
was giving direction to
Show your teeth.
I think it was Jewel Sparkle.
Lady
he was,
Gaga.
He was giving that direction to her
Yeah.
Show your teeth.
of showing the top of your teeth.
Well, it's like Iman, right? Iman
Yeah.
has that face where
yeah.
when she's resting, her mouth is slightly open and you can see her top teeth. But not everybody's mouth is shaped like that.
Like-
so you can't just make that face.
That's exactly what you said when
Yeah.
Ru was
This is
directing.
This is like on the set. There's a picture of Gene Crane and Gene Tierney. Isn't that cute?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do look like they could be
They
related.
look like they could be related. They resemble each other a lot.
So, how do we feel about the 18th Academy Awards Best
All
Actress?
right, let's get into
That-
it.
Let's list it.
The winner was not even there. She did not even bother to show up, probably because Joan Crawford thought
She wasn't
Gene
gonna win.
Tierney
Was
probably
gonna win.
has this in the bag. It was a very, Mildred Pierce was also a popular
What a
movie
year.
for 1945.
And another
so
noir.
it was probably a very close category, but probably with Greer Garson, Jennifer Jones, and Gene Tierney and Ingrid Bergman, she probably just thought, I don't know if I'm going to win this category.
Yeah, because Ingrid Bergman. Yep, these are all good.
Yeah,
movies.
this is
Like, that's
a
actually
pretty
great
this is a
movie.
pretty strong category. Looks like Ingrid Bergman is there for The Bells of St. Mary, Greer Garson for The Valley of Decision, Jennifer Jones for Love Letters.
She's another one that most people have forgotten about, but she was
Yeah.
very hot for a while. Jennifer Jones.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that Jennifer Jones and Gene Tierney, I could see being reader
Interchange of-
favorites in some of these magazines.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Yeah. There's a crazy movie. I want to say that Jennifer Jones is in. I think it's. Yeah. I've texted you about it. Duel in the Sun. It's wild.
I've heard of it.
It's
Sure, yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I need to get to that one. But, I can't really argue with Joan winning that Oscar.
Yeah.
It means so much to Joan, and it would be her
Right,
only
it's her
win.
only win.
I mean, it was also
Pierce.
Gene Tierney's only nomination.
And she's
So,
so good.
she
She's so
didn't really have any opportunities after that. But we have
Oh,
to
Joan.
we have to stand by
Oh,
Joan
Joan.
Crawford in that Oscar.
Joan.
Yeah, I mean,
This always I die every time. March 23rd, 19. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
It's like they know the day and the month, but no one knows.
I mean,
the
this
year.
was also
Yeah.
at a time where
You'd have known.
celebrities had disputed birthdays, just
She-
with public records.
She had a rough upbringing.
Yep, she had
too.
Joan in particular had a rough upbringing
In Texas, right?
as Lucille Fay.
So her mom might have even just like lost her birth
Yeah.
certificate.
That's
Maybe
true, yeah.
Joan didn't even know when she was born.
And her mom never bothered to tell her, like, you were born in 1905.
I mean, Joan
Right.
would probably just always say that she was just
Yeah.
perpetually in her late 30s
Love that.
for a good portion of her career.
yeah. Yeah, I think Mildred Pierce is just, it has, it's got
It's
a
also
reputation.
timeless.
Yeah.
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 That'd be a great double feature.
It really would
Wouldn't
be.
that be
I
fun?
agree, yeah.
These strong female-led movies.
Oh yeah.
I want to find I have the quote about what the production code said.
Oh, about the scene where she goes down the stairs.
It will be absolutely essential to remove any flavor that Ellen plans to murder the unborn child merely because she is misshapen. So I
What
think
does that even mean?
I think
What?
that's referencing Ellen being misshapen.
Oh, like it's
That's
not okay if she's doing it because she feels ugly,
right. It should
but
be.
it is okay if she's doing
It should be definitely established that her reason for murdering the child is that she thinks the newborn will replace her in her husband's affections.
Why is one acceptable? and
Sure.
one
This
not?
is
That's interesting.
important to in order to avoid any of the flavor that is normally connected with what could be termed abortion.
So this is what Zanuck had underlined as they were
So they were using the word abortion
when they were submitting this movie.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why one is okay.
One's better than the other.
Yeah.
A subsequent draft submitted was disapproved as it overtly implied that Richard and Ellen had engaged in an illicit sexual affair before their marriage.
Well, they were doing that hot closed mouth kissing. If that movie came out today, we would understand why he was willing to do what she wanted, because they'd be having crazy sex. But in this, they're just doing very dry, passionless kissing.
Yeah, very chaste. The affair was minimized in subsequent drafts, and the screenplay was approved.
We don't really even see them spending that much time together before. They just hold hands, and they're like, well, and she's like, this is my fiance.
And now we're getting married. Yeah. Faye Marlowe was originally cast as Ruth, but ultimately replaced by Jean Crane. I'm not familiar with Faye Marlowe.
Jean Crane, you can tell she actually knows how to play piano.
Sure.
There's that again with this these actresses that would just know how to do things.
Yeah.
You can tell she's actually
skills.
playing that
No,
Chopin.
totally. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So ultimately, at the end of this whole trial, when he kind of gives the big Gagarini and the whole room is shocked and appalled, this wasn't a murder. This was in fact a suicide.
And he is an accessory to murder.
He gets 2 years.
He's an accessory to Danny's death because
he didn't report it.
He didn't report it
because she told him, and he didn't immediately.
That's what he gets the 2 years for.
Sure,
is for not turning her in.
Okay. I guess, that makes sense now.
But how much time even passed? I feel like she told him, and then he went, and then she
just
killed
left.
herself.
Yeah, that's what my thing.
But
too.
he was supposed to have done it when?
I don't know. So he fully served 2 years
and also,
in jail.
how was he supposed to prove something like that?
Right.
If he did go to the authorities.
Yeah.
I think at that time they kind of took your word for it.
Especially if it was a man. Sure.
Yeah, like that whole like in Chicago when she's like, "Oh, lady, guy just got off for."
Mm-hmm.
A jury
thanked
just thanked a guy for doing the same thing.
And you're like, what the fuck kind of jury was that?
Well, I mean, also that was self-defense too.
Right. So I don't know. Maybe they would have taken his word for it that my crazy wife just admitted to me this thing. Yeah, I don't know. But that is crazy that he served 2 years in jail, came back on his little rowboat. And then,
or was it a motorboat or was it a rowboat?
Was it? Yeah.
And I love that you have to take the rowboat to get to the house.
Yeah, because he had to boat to the dock.
I guess that it's more because of cinema.
Yeah,
he has to be on the boat
because he had to land on a dock and then take off on another.
He can't just pull up in his truck.
So all the local old men can tell this story to each other. Yeah, and then we see Ruth just waiting for him.
And there she was waiting.
She waited 2 years.
Oh, Ruth.
The gal with the hoe.
Happy ending for her. Yeah.
She won, yeah. Scott, do you remember the line that you were like, that's the line I'm going to use at the piano?
Oh, I don't remember.
There was a good line of...
there was a really good line.
There were many good lines.
But Ellen was talking to Ruth and just kind of giving it to her. But, yeah.
Was it, I'll never let you go? Never, never, never?
Maybe.
I'm just typing in "Leave her to heaven" quotes.
That's a good one. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Ellen. It's just she loves too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That would be a really good tagline.
Oh yeah.
Here's this one: the walls are as thin as paper, and the acoustics disgustingly perfect.
I love that.
Oh, was it this one, Scott? Sometimes the truth is wicked. You're afraid of the truth, aren't you, Ruth?
Yeah.
There's some good lines in this one.
Yeah, what a fun role for an actress at this time that, women weren't really given the opportunity to play characters this complicated. I'm not even going to say evil, because I think that Ellen is a very...
She's mentally ill.
I think that there's something very interesting about her, because you can never really quite pinpoint what's wrong with her.
No.
Too.
Right. Think about this in Fatal Attraction.
Sure.
Yeah.
She's very similar to Alex.
Did she take Danny out with the express idea?
I don't think so. I think that she just... I think she just thought it in the moment.
No, she decided she was going to let him die when he said that. I don't want to go to Bar Harbor. She didn't go out there intending to make sure he drowned.
I guess that if you were going to clinically diagnose her with anything, it's probably something like borderline.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Borderline personality.
Yeah.
Very, very girl interrupted.
Yeah. Lisa.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine like Angelina Jolie of the 90s playing this.
Oh my god. She has a face that she's got a face.
Could cut glass with those cheekbones.
Yeah.
I think that Charlize Theron could have done if you were going to remake this as like an Adrian Lyne thriller of the 90s. I could see Charlize.
I think nowadays I could see like Anya Taylor-Joy being cast with her face.
See, I think that is part of the character.
Just
it's
the
like
face.
it's built in there. Yeah, you're right.
Those
you're
cheekbones.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a spoken clock.
Not that hag Aubrey Plaza that I originally said at the beginning. Just kidding.
Lily Rose Depp. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a face.
She's serving face. I love it. Could old Eggers make this?
Oh, what would that
Maybe,
even
I don't
look
know.
like?
He would make it a period
Mikey
movie.
Madison.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know. It's just such an interesting kind of idea of this. I love an Electra complex.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Which you don't really see a lot in movies too.
No.
Yeah, but what a name, an Electra complex. There was some other references in there in the Wikipedia.
I think
analysis.
it's when she's spreading the ashes. I think that there are some images of Hippolyta and her magical girdle bestowed upon her father, Ares, the god of war.
Interesting.
And also Medea murdering her children.
Oh.
And then I think there was something of like referencing her to like a siren and just like her in the boat with Danny like struggling.
Here, it says, it says there's a scholar, S.T. Joshi, who likens her to a siren, a mythical creature who lured sailors to their death because Ellen is frequently associated with water and shown swimming like a mermaid, cold-blooded and alien, preying on a hapless human male.
Yeah. But it mentioned something about her on the horse with like the urn, just like.
Don't you love how she throws the urn afterward?
Yeah, I thought that
she chucks that thing.
Yeah, I was like, did she just throw the urn? I thought it might have been something else.
She just tosses it over her shoulder
threw
when
it.
she's all
She
done
threw
with
it really far. She's got a good arm.
She hucked it. She yeeted that urn after she was shaking those
covered
ashes.
in her father's ashes.
Listeners, she is sitting on a horse and has an urn in her hands and is dumping it side to side over the horse.
It's like that in the Big Lebowski when the ashes all end up on his face and in his mouth.
Yes. Or like on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills,
Sure.
Merce
with Merce in the purse.
Merce was in the purse, and and it got on Garcelle's back.
Oh my god!
Was it Garcelle or Kyle? Got on someone's back.
I mean, it kind of spilled over to everyone. I was just doing a Google search of film noir and color. Do you know of any of these movies? Desert
Color,
Fury,
film noir, okay,
Rope.
Yeah.
So
Rope I've heard of.
Yeah, Rope's and Color.
Hitchcock has kind of done.
Ooh, Niagara. That's
Niagara.
That's the one with Marilyn in it.
Inferno.
Rope is the gay one.
Second Chance. Black Widow. I mean,
Rear
Rear Window.
Window.
It's funny. I don't really think immediately
As a noir.
of Rear Window as a noir. I find that more of kind of a very sleek
a psychological
Hollywood thriller of the 50s, but I guess it has
crime thriller.
I guess it has noir elements in it.
Yeah.
Johnny Guitar is there.
Oh yes,
Love.
Another movie that I don't immediately think of noir, but I mean, I guess it does have
That's weird that
noir
they
elements in
placed
it.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I think this IMDb list is being pretty liberal
because they're just like, what's a Technicolor movie from
What's
the
a movie
40s?
with crime? What's a movie with crime that is color?
Yeah, because like that's Johnny Guitar's is a western.
Yeah. But Mercedes McCambridge in that like black dress.
I love her.
That black morning gown. Just like
I was doing a Google search of Carthay Circle, the theater that this premiered at. Why did they tear that down? It is an office building now. Such a bummer
Boo.
that when the business went in decline It looks like it was torn down. I think it was torn down in the 60s. They just got rid of it.
Oh yeah, that was
beautiful. What a loss to just LA
that was
architecture.
Beautiful, yeah.
I guess that you can just go and have a drink now at DCA.
Yeah. There must be,
and it might be the
I
closest
think they're tearing that down too.
They are? Oh no!
I think so.
How many abandoned old theaters
demolished
are in LA?
in '69?
Quite a
There is a
few.
lot. When you walk down Hollywood Boulevard,
Broadway.
you can tell there are massive theaters
Yeah.
that are vacant.
But all on Broadway in downtown Los Angeles, there's a lot of old theaters that are just weird churches.
I mean,
now.
at least something like something like the Ace, which is the United Artists Theater. At least that is still a functioning theater now that does host events.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I read the Carthay Circle at DCA at California Adventure it might just be going under renovations, but they might be doing something weird to it. But stay tuned for news on that. Yeah, I'll look it up later. Anyhow. Well,
I'm glad that we finally got to this movie. It was really fun. It's always a great opportunity to talk about the older movies with you. I love it.
Movies,
Sure.
What are other kind of movies that are like this would you recommend to us and listeners? That are some of your
that are
favorites?
Like Leave Her to Heaven?
It can either be a Gene Tierney movie, just kind of other noirs
well, I would definitely,
that you enjoy.
If you want to see more of Gene, I would definitely recommend Laura.
Yeah.
For sure. She's also in the Ghost of Mrs. Muir. I don't even know how to say it. Muir.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Mrs. Muir is great.
She did a movie with Tyrone
Powers
that looked really interesting when I was reading
yeah,
that
I
today.
remember.
Son of Fury, the story of Benjamin Blake. I might have to check that one out.
I remember watching.
I
that
love
on
Tyrone Powers. He was very handsome.
Yeah, dark. I would watch The Heiress. It's great.
Okay.
With Olivia de Havilland. And then for Gene Crane, there's another movie that I think you would really love, and it's a comedy, but it's a Letter to Three Wives.
Okay.
And that's a comedy, but she's in it, and it's great. It's same screenwriter as All About Eve.
Okay.
Mankiewicz. Yeah.
A movie that we might be talking about very, very soon on the show.
All About Eve? Mm-hmm. Oh, you haven't done it yet?
Yeah, we're going to be finally getting
saved
to All About Eve very, very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Laura, just very, very side tangent.
Yeah.
There is a Star Trek The Next Generation episode that kind of takes some plot elements from Laura. It's not the best episode, and it's kind of known for being a little out there.
A police detective falls in love with a woman.
The picture,
whose
right?
Murder he is investigating.
He's investigating.
Yeah, Laura is great. Oh, and Clifton Webb is so fun in Laura.
Oh,
he's great.
Otto Preminger was a director of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that movie she stars in it with Dana Andrews. They were also in another movie together.
Oh.
I think it was like a gangster. I think it was a gangster movie, but yeah, she starred in a couple of movies with him. And then there's some like Mildred Pierce.
Right.
Definitely watch Mildred Pierce.
Yeah.
There's another movie that I was texting Scott about, and it's so good. And it was on Criterion, but I think you can also find it on YouTube with Joan Crawford that I'm now dying to do. It's The Damned Don't Cry.
Sure. I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, she's good. It's really good. Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, this was so much fun talking about this movie.
Yes.
So much fun to record with you in person
Yes.
and your massive fluffy white dog.
Yeah. She really likes
She
you.
does.
I got a good picture with Pete.
Dogs
the dog.
really like
yeah,
her.
that dog was in your business.
She's part bear.
She is. She's a Saint Bernard Great Pyrenees.
Oh my goodness.
She's a big girl.
She's a big girl, but she's so fluffy.
Yeah. And she didn't bark either. She just kind of got in your face.
No, yeah, she just wanted to hang out with me, as most dogs do. Oh, goodness. Emily, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Do you want to talk a little bit about your show before we do our
sure.
sign-offs?
Yeah, so my podcast is called Female Driven Podcast, and I host it with my friends Rachel and Kristen, and we just recorded Chicago.
Love it.
So
Love Chicago.
Yeah, we love it. And so I still have to edit it, but that'll be out soon.
Cool.
So, yeah. And we talk about female-driven cinema, if you couldn't guess from the title.
Love it. Anywhere podcasts are found. Where can they find you on socials?
Yep, Instagram, female-driven podcast.
Love it.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Next time we have you on, it might be over Zoom, but you know.
Yeah, I'll never let you go. Never, never, never.
Oh, boy. Listeners, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more show. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Fun episode on the road. We are coming at you live from, all the way on location in lovely Arizona. Right outside of Phoenix, and it was a lot of fun to do a location episode. We don't get to do these very often, so that was fun.
You live in a very beautiful part of the desert too.
Yes, indeed.
You live right up to the mountains.
I mean, it was kind of giving Can't Buy Me Love
a little bit
with the lovely desert, backdrop, desert vistas. But Emily, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and go listen to Female Driven.
Any
podcast.
Jerry Springer final thoughts about Leave Her to Heaven? I'm glad that I finally got to it. It's been a movie that I've been wanting to get to for a while.
Totally.
But this movie is very unique for coming out in the 40s.
No, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised at how many people really reacted when we posted online that this was going to be our next movie. We got a lot of people jumping in the comments and saying that
big
they
following
really
behind
love this movie. Yeah, it's got a really big following. It's a lot of fun. It's wild. It's out there. I wasn't thinking Gone Girl as we were watching it, but I was thinking about how to adapt it, how to modernize it. And when you guys said that, I was like, perfect, spot on, love it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys once again for sticking around to the very, very end of our Leave Her to Heaven episode. But I think right about now, it is about that time
for Patreon shout-outs.
Time for some Patreon shout-outs.
Let's hear them.
I would like to say a great big hello and thank you to all of our wonderful active patrons, including Leia, Megan, Rachel, Kelsey, Andrew, Stephen, Vanessa, Leah, Espy, Brian, Sarah, Richard, Mark, Amy, Erica, Anna, Mitchie, our friends at How Do You Drew podcast, Andy, Kate, Pep, Roberto, Daisy, Kelly, Chrissy, Stephen, Laura, Thomas, Lori, Brenna, Jess, Lawrence, Lisa, Alexis, Thomas, Millie, Ted, Benny, Melanie, Susan, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Aaron, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and Rufino. You guys, thank you for being patrons.
A lot of fun stuff on the Patreon. So go check us out.
Yes,
Movies That Made Us Gay. Patreon.com/movies
Yeah, there's a lot
of
really cool stuff going on over at the Patreon. We love any comments that you guys leave on the posts, any fun conversations going on over there. Head over to the Patreon. There's a lot of really cool stuff. TV That Keeps Us Gay. Our TGIF Goes to Disney World episode was really, really fun. It was a lot of fun.
Trying to figure out what we're going to do this month.
Yeah, we're still working on it now.
Still thinking about
it. But our Watch With Us commentary on the Whitney and Brandy Cinderella, Rodgers and Hammerstein, that's over there. Lots of fun stuff, so check us out.
Fun back catalog of stuff.
Patreon.com/movies that made us gay. We'd love it if you would follow the show, rate, and review us.
Give us 5 stars.
Give us 5 stars. If you have Apple Podcasts, if you have an iPhone, Apple Podcasts is pre-installed. Open up the podcast app, search Movies That Made Us Gay.
Give us 5 stars.
And give us 5 stars, you guys. It's cheap, it's easy, it's free. And you can also do it over on Spotify. But if you write us a nice review on
we'll
Apple
read
Podcasts,
it.
We'll read it. I'm checking to see. We haven't had a review since March 5th. Come on, guys. And we are at 199 of star reviews, 4.9. I'd like to see 200 stars. Come on, you guys. Let's do this. And, so check us out over on your podcast apps. Rate and review. Follow us on our socials. We're at Movies That Made Us Gay on Instagram. We're most active there. We post all the time. Lots of conversations happening over on the Instagram. And we're on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And we're on, what's the other one? Threads, I guess. Yeah, whatever's on Instagram is on Threads. But check us out.
Most active on Instagram.
On the socials. If you want to follow our personals, my name's Pete. I'm at Peter Lasagna on Instagram.
I'm Scott Youngballer on Instagram. And follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. Until next week, everybody. Thank you once again for listening.
Bye.
Bye.